Hello student, myself Digan Sakhiwala, I am your science sir. Today we are going to continue chapter number 15, improvement in food resources. Dear student, last time we learned about the manure and fertilizer. Today we are going to learn about the irrigation. In irrigation we are going to learn about the dug well, as well as we are going to learn about the tube well, canals, river lift system, tank, cropping pattern, in that mixed cropping and intercropping. So we will start. Irrigation. Most agriculture in India in rain fed. Okay, so most of our agriculture system is depend on what? Rain. That is, the success of crop in most of the area is depend on the timely monsoon and sufficient rainfall spread through the most of the growing season. Okay, so totally depend upon what? Crop success is totally depend on the timely monsoon and sufficient rainfall spread through the most of the growing season. Okay, hence poor monsoon caused the crop failure. Ensuring that the crops get water at the right stages during their growing season can increase the expected yield of any crop. So at the particular time period, the crops should get the water, because crops are also two types. One is Rabi crop and other is what? Kharif crop. So different season in that we should have the proper irrigation system so the crop get the enough amount of water. Therefore, many measures are used to bring the more and more agriculture land under the irrigation. So we need more and more land, okay, for the crop, which we can provide the water through irrigation. India has a wide variety of water resources and highly varied climate. So India has what? Wide variety of water resources are there. Pond are there, lakes are there, river are there, and highly varied climate. Jammu Kashmir in that climate is different, Rajasthan in that climate is different, South India in that climate is different. Under such conditions, several different kind of irrigation system are adopted to supply water to agricultural land depending on the kind of water resources available. These include wells, canal, rivers and tanks. And because of different climatic and geographical condition, we have to give the water to the agricultural land, okay, and that depend on what? Different type of water resources, and that include what? Well, canals, river and tanks. Wells, there are two type of wells, namely dug well and tube wells. In a dug well, water is collected from water bearing strata. Okay, so there are two type of well are there. One is called the dug well and other is called what? Tube well. In the dug well, water is collected from the water bearing strata. So simple, in the village you find the well, that is a dug well. In the different layer of the earth, the water is flowing. Okay, so from that we get the water, so that is called the dug well. Tube well can tap water from the deeper strata. So tube well are there what? Tap water from the deeper strata in the earth. When we dig the soil, then we get the water. Okay, so it is available at the deeper strata. From this well, water is lifted by the pump for irrigation. From this well, water is lifted by the pumps for the irrigation. Even nowadays also you find so many villages are there, in that pumps are there, and by the pump the water is lifted for the irrigation. Canals, this is usually an elaborate and extensive irrigation system. So canal you find so many places, even in city also you find so many canal are there, and this is usually elaborate and extensive irrigation system. In this system, canal receive the water from one or more reservoir or from river. So how the canal receive the water? From the river or another type of reservoir. The main canal is divided into branch canal having the further distributaries to irrigate the field. So main canal is divided into the branch of the canal, and from that further distributary to irrigate the field. River lift system. In area where the canal flow is insufficient or irregular due to the inadequate reservoir release, the lift system is more rational. So simple thing is that where the canal water is insufficient, canal flow is insufficient or irregular due to the inadequate reservoir release, the lift system is more rational. So directly we can take water from the river by the pump or by human effort. Water is directly drawn from the rivers for the supplementing irrigation in areas close to the river. So directly we get the water Water is directly drawn from the rivers from the supplementing irrigation in areas close to the rivers. Tanks. These are the small storage reservoir which intercept and store the runoff smaller catchment area. So tank, in that what happen, whatever what it is, the tank is what, these are the small storage reservoir which intercept and store the runoff smaller catchment areas. So whatever water are stored in the very limited stock in the tank. Phrase initiative for the increasing water available for the agriculture include the rainwater harvesting and the watershed management. So whatever the fresh water are there, phrase initiative for increasing the water available for the agriculture including what, rainwater harvesting. So whatever rain water are there, that should not go in the ocean or river. Okay, we have to harvest it, we have to store it. That is in the rainwater harvesting and the watershed management. We have to develop such a system in that we can utilize the water in the more amount, that is in the watershed management. These involve building a small check dams which lead to an increase in the groundwater levels. So it is not necessary that we get the reservoir of water, we have to also increase the ground level water. Okay, whatever level of water are there, that we should have to increase. So we can build the small check dams which leads to an increase the groundwater levels. The check dams stop the rainwater from flowing away and also reduce the soil erosion. So another advantage of check dam is what? It stops the soil erosion. The check dam stop the rainwater from flowing away and also reduce the soil erosion. So water is stored at particular place, so water is not flowing on the soil, so we can stop the soil erosion. Cropping pattern. Different way of growing crops can be used to give the maximum benefit. Okay, so we can use such a type of system like that we can take the number of crop in more amount as well as we are in the maximum benefit. Mixed cropping is a growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same piece of land. For example, wheat and gram, or wheat and mustard, or groundnut and sunflower. So mixed cropping, in that what happen, growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same piece of land. On the same piece of land we take two or more crops. Okay, like example is given what, wheat and gram, or the wheat and mustard, or the groundnut and the sunflower. This reduce risk and give some insurance against the failure of one of the crops. And because of that reason what happen, if one crop is failed, then the farmer get the advantage of the second or third crop. Nowadays, dear student, in India, that is a more problem that farmers are commit suicide. Okay, so mixed cropping and intercropping give advantage to the farmer. Intercropping. Intercropping is a growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same field in the definite pattern. So how it is different? Mixed cropping, in that pattern is not fixed. Okay, whereas intercropping, in that the growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same field in the definite pattern. So one row is of the one crop, then second row is of the other crop. Okay, a few rows of one crop alternate with the few rows of second crop. For example, soybean and maize, or finger millet, that is bajra, and cowpea, that is lobia. Okay, a few rows of one crop alternate with the few row of second crop. Okay, example we have soybean and maize, or finger millet, that is bajra, and the cowpea, that is called lobia. The crop were selected such that their nutrient requirements are different. So main thing is what, we should not grow the same crop because it decreases the nutrition in the nutrition of the land. So if we take the different type of crop, then what happen, the nutrient requirements are different, so fertility of soil is what, maintained. This ensures the maximum utilization of the nutrients supplied and also prevent the pest and disease from the spreading to all plants belonging to one crop in a field. This way both the crops are give the better return. So like that, by the intercropping, the farmer get the good return because maximum utilization of nutrients supplied and also prevent the pest and disease from the spreading to all the plants belonging to crop in the field. The growing of different crop on a piece of land in a pre-plant succession is known as a crop rotation. So what is called crop rotation? In a year we take the different type of crop one or two time or three time, that is called the crop rotation. The growing of different crop in a piece of land in a pre-plant succession is known as the crop rotation. As well as we can maintain the fertility of the soil, because we take the different type of crop, and different type of the crop, they have the different type of nutrient requirements. Depending upon the duration, crop rotation is done for the different crop combination. The availability of the moisture and irrigation facility decide the choice of the crop to be cultivated after the one harvest. So two things are important. The availability of the moisture and irrigation facility decide the choice of the crop to be cultivated after the one harvest. Okay, so when we take the different type of crop, okay, then crop rotation is done for the different crop combination. So we have to do the crop rotation with the combination of other crops. If crop rotation is done properly, then 2 or 3 crops can be grown in a year with the good harvest. If we are success in the crop rotation, okay, then 2 or 3 crops can be grown in a year with the good harvest. So dear student, today we learn about the irrigation system, as well as we learn about the different type of cropping pattern, in that mixed cropping and intercropping. Okay, this is all about the today's portion. If you like my video, then like and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.